Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing or finishing my Sun in the Houses series in Synastry. In this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your Sun in someone's 12th house in Synastry, or their Sun falling into your 12th house in the Synastry overlay. Now this placement could have entire books written about it. Maybe I should start writing on it. I'm actually surprised I have not done this video. I could have done this video 10 years ago when I started doing YouTube videos. This is one of the most profound, powerful, eerie, sometimes very hurtful Synastry placements. So let's just get right into it. This one is crazy. So when someone's Sun is falling into our 12th house, we can feel like they are a mystery. And actually, this can go both ways too. There's definitely this quality of having a relationship with someone who is a mystery, and there's something ethereal, there's something profound, there's something sexy and romantic about it too. So this is actually quite common in romantic relationships, because sometimes we can be attracted to each other not because of reasons we can even articulate or understand. This overlay is one of those overlays where you cannot put it to words why you are so attracted to this person. It is beyond the mind. It is beyond the ability to communicate it to someone. And so relationships with the Sun in the 12th house overlay can be those relationships that your friends, your family, people are looking at from the outside and they're thinking, what are you thinking, right? Or maybe they're not thinking about it at all, because this can also show up in secret relationships or affairs. So when we have a strong 12th house influence in the Synastry or the composite chart, this can show up in relationships where maybe because of this inability to articulate what we're doing here, or maybe because someone is actually unavailable or just not all there ready for the commitment, this can be kept a secret. This can be, and it can go on for a long time, but it might not be out in the open. And if it is out in the open, there can still be an element of secrecy. There can still be, and sometimes it's actually the house person who is confusing the Sun person, because the Sun is such an outward energy. It is, naturally ruled by the first, or you're exalted in the first, and ruled by the fifth houses, like Aries and Leo energy. The Sun is such an outward planet, and so when our Sun is being contained in someone's hidden, unconscious energy, the 12th house, it's a very weird, interesting, eerie overlay where it can, the Sun person's light, the Sun person's confidence and self-esteem can actually go down at times. And we're going to talk about the positives too. Don't worry, you guys. This will probably be the longest video out of all the Sun overlays, because like I said, books could be written about it. So the Sun person can feel like the house person is hiding them, or actually not allowing them to see their light. And especially if there are difficult aspects to that person's Sun, and the Sun is falling into someone's 12th house, their confidence, they can feel so like unsure of themselves, or on not stable footing or not stable ground in this relationship. So there can be a lot of insecurity, and the Sun person can really feel like, what is going on with that house person? Like, are they lying to me? Are they, keeping me a secret from everybody? Like, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Like, there's just, it can be that extreme that the sun person literally does not know what is going on. Now, on the more positive side of this, there can be a deep level of unconditional love, caring, service. The sun person can be incredibly giving to the house person, giving their everything, until they have nothing. There's that level of like selfless service that can happen. And that can also go on the reversal too, when someone's sun is sitting in our 12th house. They see, because what's actually happening on the reversal is that the sun being the brightest light in the natal chart, falling into our 12th house, the 12th house person is straight up freaked out too. And they can feel like the sun person is shining their light on very uncomfortable, hard to pin down parts of themselves. And they can feel exposed. They can feel vulnerable. They can feel seen on the deepest level too. And so depending on like the sun person's sun and what level of givingness or lovingness or like what they have going on for them and the qualities of their sun, the sun person can actually be like a healer and a guide and someone who is like a guardian of the 12th house person. You can also see that like with Jupiter in the 12th house or Venus in the 12th house in Synastry, where like the 12th house person has found someone who can just unconditionally give to them and love them for who they are, and even parts of themselves that they can't even fathom, they can't even put words to, unconscious quirks and weirdness and craziness and insanity, right? The sun person can love them for all of that and bring all of that out even more. So this overlay can show up in some of the most profoundly healing, life-changing, life-altering relationships where the house person, it's like being with your psychologist or therapist or hypnotherapist, because we could be going into some past life stuff here. And that's very common, actually. It's very common for the 12th house person to dream of the sun person. And actually, both ways this can happen. There can be intense dreams. There can be past life memories, past life triggers. This is a karmic overlay. This is likely not rooted in this lifetime alone, this overlay. The sun person and the house they have known each other. There's something going on here. Someone has killed the other or something like that. No, or just something has happened that with this relationship there is this feeling of like unfinished business, karma, fear, depending on what has taken place in this other lifetime. So that can actually give quite a feeling of loyalty in a weird way with this overlay. Like, this can be a special person to you. This can feel like someone who you don't want to let go, partially because you feel exposed by them. You feel like they know you just even better than you know yourself, and it's like scary. You don't want to let them go and share these secrets with other people. But also like that quality of knowing someone over and over and over and meeting them in every lifetime. This overlay can create that feeling of when you look into someone's eyes and you see, like, you get a flashback. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, where you look into someone's eyes and you just know that you've known them before, right? You've been there before. It's deja vu. It's something, yeah, it's so incredibly hard to put words to. So hopefully this is being translated okay. But yeah, when you look into someone's eyes, and they say the eyes are the windows of the soul, right? And they say that you keep the same eyes in every lifetime. So when you look into each other's eyes with this overlay and going both ways, you feel that depth, you feel that knowing, you can feel like you've known this person before. And even if you can't quite put your finger on what this relationship is in this lifetime, you can feel like there's some purpose for it. And yeah, there's some reason that you're together. And over time, it can become a very deep connection and a very intimate connection, because when someone is falling in your 12th house, they know you better than you know yourself. And so there can end up being a very deep sharing here. All the secrets can come out, and it can be, like I said at the beginning, very romantic or erotic, and it creates a feeling of vulnerability, which can lead to fear or can lead to very deep intimacy. So you'll usually tend to notice when someone's sun is falling in your 12th house. You can sometimes feel romantic to them. You can feel like, yeah, this you can't put your finger on it, some kind of attraction. It can be very sexy. It can be very sexual. You can really have that feeling of wanting to be romantically involved with someone, and feeling like you'll never find something like this again, because it feels so deep and romantic and intense. It's very emotional, that it can be really unforgettable. And I should mention the level of pain that can come up, because the 12th house is unconscious pain. It's stuff that when it gets drudged up, it can feel like an ocean. It can feel like you're drowning in pain. So with this overlay, you can end up feeling, and this can go both ways, huge pain. This can be an overlay of heartbreak. This can be an overlay of betrayal, abandonment fears, all the typical human fears that most humans have in their life. Yeah, like it's sort of characteristic of the human existence, right? So that is common to have very intense pain come up in this relationship. And it, depending on the rest of the synastry, it could be a wholly painful relationship, and the people might realize that it's just not comfortable enough, it's not safe enough, or it's not meant to be long term, because it's just so painful and heartbreaking. But with the 12th house, there's that potential, and then there's also the potential for deep healing and a spiritual connection. This one would work out really well. Most people are not doing this, but if they were doing some type of spiritual project, or working on the unconscious mind together, doing some type of subconscious healing, mind reprogramming, you would want someone's sun in your 12th house to be doing that work on you, to be your therapist. You would want that. This is ideal, right? But for the most part, human relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, you don't always want that. Now, some people do. Pisces, Neptunian, 12th house natal types, this is going to feel right at home, right? But for some people, it's just going to be too much, too intense, too deep, too emotional, and too confusing. Because, yeah, it is it's hard to put words to, it's hard to put your finger on what is happening here because it's bringing up a lot. And the sun is different than, there's other planets, you know, the feminine planets probably do better in the 12th house. The sun, it shines a light on those unconscious feelings in a more abrupt way. And yeah, it can be pretty hard to deal with this type of relationship. So it's definitely memorable. It's not surprising that probably this video is longer than my other sun in the house overlays videos. So yeah, it's definitely one to be talked about, to be written about, and make more videos about. Maybe there'll be like a part 2. And I'd love to know your experience of this one. How did it feel for you? Was it like this? How was it for you? I'd love to know. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Talk soon. Bye.